Hi, welcome back to Excel Baby Steps. In this video, we are going to learn about Excel charting. So remember the last session where we talked about how to create and format an Excel monthly expenses worksheet. Now that we have formatted, I would like to see the overall expense trend, whether the expenses are fluctuating wildly or whether they are following any reasonable pattern. So what I think might be a nice thing to do is show date on x-axis and then show me a line chart of the spending trend. I mean, this is nothing rocket science. It's probably not even a good chart to make, but let's get started with something, isn't it? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to show all these numbers in a nice line chart. So let us select these numbers. Maybe you can select the how much as well. Select all these. Go to insert. This is where you would find options to insert a chart, and then select the type of chart you want to insert. Before jumping into any random chart, I think you should understand the first thing that you need to understand is what chart should I make. Of course, there is a lot of theory on this thing alone, and I don't really think now is a good time for you to get confused with all these things. Probably the easiest way you should find the chart for your data is make a bunch of charts. Start making with the simplest one, maybe a line chart or a bar chart, and experiment with them. Change the chart type to something else and see if this works for you. The most important thing that you should always ask yourself when you are making a chart is, what am I trying to tell with this chart? If you are making chart for just understand the trend and maybe explore data, then I think a line chart or a bar chart is good enough for you. But if you are making a chart so your audience, maybe your boss or your colleagues or your customers, need to understand something better, then you should spend a bit more time and explore the problem or the question that the user would ask, and then see if your chart is answering that. So that's a simple common sense test that you can apply, and after that everything else boils down to formatting and then choosing highlighting some data and not highlighting some and things like that. But let us not get all those things. Let us understand how you can make a chart in Excel. So to make a chart, select some data. Make sure that your data has some numbers. Of course, even if you don't have any numbers, you can make a chart, but it will not mean anything. So select some data, go to the insert ribbon, and then select a chart type. In this case, let us make a line chart. So select the line and then specify the line type. There are multiple types of lines. So select the first one, the easiest one for us here. Excel will by default insert a chart, format it with default options, and then put it. You can drag the chart to position it anywhere you want, like this. When you select the chart, you will see three new ribbons: Design, Layout, and Format. Design tab is used to specify the source data. You can move this data anywhere, but when you select this chart, you will see that some border is appearing around the data. So this is the data, how much is the series name, and the blue color one is the actual numbers. Series is a terminology that we use to denote a bunch of numbers that form as one line. So for example, how much is one series? In case we have another column like what it is worth, and we enter some numbers here, just hypothetical case, 3,000, 300,000, 450, and so on and so forth. And if you add this column as well, to add another series, just press Ctrl C, select the data, and then select the chart, and then Ctrl V. So new series will be added. So one blue line, one red line. These are two different sets of data. One is how much, and one is what it's worth. Okay, I guess this should have been 3,000. Yeah. So again, this is completely meaningless. So what I'm doing is I'm deleting that. I don't want to confuse you more. So that is what a series is. And this is a basic chart. When you select the chart, you will see three new ribbons, as I said. Design is used to change the chart layouts and colors, and for example, you can quickly change the color to this one or this one. Layout is used to add some functionality to the chart. For example, you can you can add access titles. For example, you can add a title here that says in INR. It stands for Indian rupee. Okay, and you can set whether you want to see the axis or not. By default Excel shows the axis, and then this legend is probably useless because the information how much is already clear. So you can select that and you can hit the delete key and it will be gone. Let us spend a minute understanding this chart itself. This thing is called as title, and this line is itself the chart. This is called as vertical axis, horizontal axis, and this is called as vertical axis. These little things are called as grid lines. They clearly give you an indication of what each value is worth. For example, here it is probably 1610, but without the grid lines it would be difficult for us to make out. To prove my point, I'm just selecting the grid lines and hitting the delete key. Now that they're gone, at this maybe it is 1500, maybe it is not. But of course the good thing is you need not even require grid lines, because you can point your mouse and Excel will tell me what the value is as a tool tip. But when you print, you may not know that, so that's where the grid lines will come into picture. The things that you may want to do with chart is change the formatting. For example, select the chart, you want to change this line color. Select the line, go to the format tab, and then shape outline, set it to maybe red or blue or whatever you fancy, and then that's what it will be. You can also change the chart type. For example, let us change it to a bar chart. To do that, just select the chart, right click, and then select change chart type. When you do that, Excel will show a dialog box with all the possible charts. And then let us select this one, column chart, press OK. So now Excel has shown you a column chart. Of course the formatting still remains, so the shape outline was shown in blue while the shape fill was red color. So you can fix that with this. Now you have it like this. You can also change these numbers to the dates, the actual dates here, but that is all for the next lesson, or maybe for you to figure out as you learn Excel. You can do some more things. For example, you can select the entire chart and then you can fill it background color with a dark color or something like that. It may not apply because this area itself has white as background. So if you select that area and then fill it with this color or a dark color like that, and then repeat that. So this is how your chart would look like. We have completely added a black color to this one. Of course the labels are not visible, so select the labels and then you can change their font color here to white. Repeat the process for them. So when you are doing a bunch of steps like that, you can repeat actions by, for example, if this was not in black color, this was some other color, you could repeat that by pressing F4 key. Whatever you have done last will be repeated. Okay, so that is other things that you may want to do is, for example, this one was not in black color. I select that and I press F4 and then it becomes white color. You can format a particular bar. For example, select a bar and then double click on it once again. Now only that bar is selected. You can change the fill color to something else, for example to red, because that's the highest one, something like that. So this is basic charting, nothing really fancy, nothing rocket science. It's probably an useless chart to begin with, but I think you have learned how to create a chart and how to mess with it. I suggest you to play with these charting options a bit more, so you will learn what is right, what is wrong, and what works and what doesn't, and you will develop your own style. I hope you have enjoyed this baby step. I will see you in the next video. Until then, you have a good time. Bye bye.